Hi there, it's Brendan and Transparency Tuesday, and today we're going to spend a couple of minutes to tell you about icings. Alright, so the first thing that we might sort of call an icing around here, we actually refer to it as glaze. And you will see the glaze on our, what people call honey glazed donuts, fritters, okay? This is really only two things, okay? It is icing sugar and water, and all you have to do is just grab a big mixing bowl, mix up icing sugar and water until you get the consistency that you're after. So things come out of the fryer, go onto here, and then you have this glazing thing, which then just lets the glaze go onto them, all right? It has to go on hot, so you get this kind of clear look. So it gives it a nice sort of shine, and of course it's sweet because it's, like I said, just sugar and water. Okay, so this is good for, it goes on the twists, the fritters, and the glazed donuts, right? Okay, but it's got its limitations. Because it's not white, and there are other icings that people really expect to be white. For example, this is a naked butterhorn. Let's go see what has to go on those. Okay, so for butterhorns and say almond tarts, I can't put that glaze on, and I know I've tried because like once in the last 5 years I actually ran out of this stuff, Danish and sweet roll icing. And if and I showed you the label, the first two ingredients again are icing sugar and water, but then they have to add other stuff to make it white. Okay, and the stuff that makes it white is called titanium oxide, and I think that's probably what you'll find in the pigments of paint as well. If we have a white paint. Obviously it's too thick to use. Okay, so we just add water and stir it in. Okay, so with the titanium oxide, what you get is a icing that will perform the same sort of sweetening function, but it's also white. Okay, so this will go in our butterhorns. Also have the coconut on top of that for the coconut butterhorns to make the almond tarts. We can just use some of that. I have had some feedback on the almond tarts. A couple people that have said, we want the icing thicker. Or no, we have actually thickened them up. It's so sweet. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's icing. And the other one is icing. Okay, but what about a cupcake? That's a completely different animal. Okay, like I said, those first two icings that we looked at are basically just icing sugar and water. This one has some agents in it to make it hold on to the color. But for a cupcake, you need something that you can sculpt, almost like a Play-Doh putty, right? And that's what we call buttercream icing. And buttercream icing needs to be aerated. It's got to be fluffy. Okay, so this thing's full of air. How do you get something full of air? I really don't know the mechanics of it, but you whip cream. Whipping cream is 35% fat, and when you whip fat, somehow it manages to hold on to the air. The other whipped toppings as well, like the edible-based oil product things, right? Same kind of idea. Okay, so to make buttercream icing, what I do is I take more or less equal amounts of margarine, shortening, and icing sugar, and you just whip them. Okay, it stays on the mixer for quite a while. You have to have the temperature sort of right. I mean, if it's too cold, then it doesn't break down smoothly and you get kind of lumpy stuff. In the middle of summer, it just won't even aerate. It just sort of sits there in the bottom of the bowl and goes sloppy. But if you do get the temperature right, sort of room temperature, you end up with these icings that you can now put into a piping bag and pipe. Lovely, huh? Put some sprinkles on it, or add your princess rings and whatnot, and that will actually hold on to its shape quite well. Different properties of different icings will give you stronger, weaker shapes, of course, which is probably one of the reasons there's edible-based oil product whippies as opposed to whipping cream. Whipping cream only holds onto that shape for about a day, but you can get other things that'll last for 2 days. This one has no cream, of course, so like I said, what goes onto the cupcakes here, and probably most other cakes that you would buy, I assume, that is shortening, margarine, and icing sugar. So only 3 things in that. So there you go. That's icings. Have a good one.